Welcome back. To becoming a published author is fun. If you don't understand that title, then just check out episode 8 where I explain it. But today we are at episode 039. Now, 39, we're almost to the 40s already. It just has been moving along really fast, and I'm excited, still just as excited today as I was when I first started these posts. Today we're looking at marketing. There are 3 phases of being an author. There's the writing phase, the publishing phase, and the marketing phase. So we're looking at the third, or marketing phase. All 3 of them are important. And that's why in BAT, Basic Authors Training, we cover all 3. But we have, within that marketing, we have 4 different ways of marketing. Now, there might be others that I'm not going to talk about, but these are the 4 primary ways of marketing. The first one is paid. You put some money out there. It's going to cost you some money, but you're actually usually going after sales, but you might be also going after followers, people visiting your website, and you have options there. Another one is organic. This one doesn't involve money. It's simply you making use of the social media and other things to create a following of people who want to watch your videos, look at your posts. I do a variety of different posts, both videos, and I also do some like a thought for the day. I also do some others that are just text. There might be a picture involved, but they're text. Email. Have an email list. That's a good way, an excellent way, and it's one that has been around for a while. Mail. That's been around longer than anything else. And so you have 4 different aspects of marketing. Let's start out with paid. Now, one of the things I want you to understand is that paid means you're going to pay money for what you're going to do. It may or may not be a lot of money. So you have to be careful. You can make a mistake here. When you're doing paid, always make sure that there's a start and a finish to your ad. Now, if you don't have a finish to it, it very well might just continue on and on and on and start taking money out of your account. And you're going to forget where it's coming from, and you're going to say, "Where's that money coming from?" "Oh, it's YouTube. Oh, it's Amazon," whatever. And then you go in and now if it's been generating sales, then you might want that to continue. Otherwise, you might want to shut it down. So I suggest you always have a start and a finish. Now, there are different ways you can do the paid. One of them is ads. Amazon has one. YouTube. Your major players out there have the ability for you to do a paid ad. And in paid ads, there's different types. There are those who look at the product. There's those who look at the overall, like the service or some concept or whatever. They'll give you choices as to how you want to go. Well, that makes a difference, and that might make a difference in the amount of money you make, or how much money it actually costs you too. So you have options to do there. Promotions, you could roll them in and say they're part of ads, but basically what a promotion is for instance, this video right here. I do it. I do the video. I publish it and everything, and I might get a message you can boost this. Well, that might cost some money to do that. And I might decide, you know what, I think I will. And I pay that extra money to boost it. It's not a true ad such as this is up here, but it is a form of an ad. And it can be very, very effective. What you want to do, you want to increase awareness of your name. You want people to also learn about your website and visit it. And you want to create sales. So there's at least three things right there that you want to accomplish with your paid ads or paid promotions. And you need to know who you're marketing to, men, women, or both. Do you want them to be in a particular geographical area, a certain age group? There's different criteria that you have the choices of making, and that will help format or formulate the ad so that you are maximizing the outreach that you can get with that ad, and they will pay you money. How frequently, it depends upon who you're going with and things of this nature. So always make sure you know what the pay schedule is and so forth. And that is the paid. It's something that's very valuable, it does not have to be very expensive. It can be. And I emphasize again about having a start and a stop date, especially the stop. Because if you forget that's out there and you just don't go in and stop it, then you're going to get hit with a bill later on. And you're going to say, why am I going to pay on that? And then when you research it, you go, oh, I got that ad, it's out there, I better stop that. Well, it's a little late. And you've heard the expression, closing the barn doors after the cattle have already left or escaped. That's about what's happening here. But at least you won't lose any more. But the thing is, don't lose any to begin with. Make sure you have a start date so as it gets out there. And make sure you have an end date so that it comes down to a close. Or if you're going to leave it open intentionally, have a reminder and check on it daily, just so you know that it's there. So that if you change your mind and want to shut it down, you can. You want to be on top of that at all times. The second one we're going to look at here is organic. That's another way of saying it's not paid for. Organic is a way of stimulating and of growing an audience without having to spend a lot of money. When I was first getting into book writing, I didn't know much about organic. I did know a little bit about paid, and I tried it, but I didn't have much money to do anything with it. And so I actually didn't do anything at first, except I would go to local bookstores. Now, we could have put that down here for local bookstores and other stores. And that is a valid way, by the way. But we're going to just look at these four. So you can build a following. That's what you want to do, is build a following. Now you can do this by having, like on Facebook, they like. And when somebody likes you, that's a good thing. But if somebody likes you and makes a comment, that's even better. And if they make a comment, you should make a comment back to them. In fact, if all they do is a like on your post, then it might be a good idea for you to like them back or do a reply to it. So you want to build a following. It is key to your success there. And it might take time. It might take a long time. Maybe you got to be patient with it. Do a blog. Do a post like this. And I wouldn't do it over 20 minutes. That's good. You can do it for half of that, 10 minutes. You can do even half of that, 5 minutes, or even half of that for 2.5 minutes. It can go down. You can go down to seconds, really. One of the things I don't have up here is I don't have TikTok and Instagram, and I don't have those on here, which will go with shorter clips, if you will. And so that's something you want to keep in mind. Now, the reason I got these three up here because I use them. I'm most familiar with them. Facebook is my number one right now. LinkedIn is number 2. YouTube, I was in it for a while at one time. I got out of it. Now I'm back into it. And I got a feeling YouTube is going to become one of my, it was going to move up here to 2 at least. and possibly become number one. But at the same time, I'm also making big use of Facebook and plan on continuing to do so. So we may have a battle royal going here later on. So, for instance, this podcast is also a post, and I post these on Facebook. I also post them on LinkedIn, some of them. And so then later on, I thought, well, I need to have a podcast. So now I will take that podcast or that post and put it out there as a podcast. Now my podcast at this point in time does not have the voice, the separate voice. It's strictly the video, which has its own voice, and so I like that. I'm not sure whether I'm going to add the voice only aspect to it. Some people swear by it, and so I'm looking at it, and I might eventually do that. But right now, it's strictly video. And but the thing is, you want to build a following by doing all three of these. You might want. I would recommend that you keep them down to three, no more than 4 different social media types that you use. Why? Because they take time, they take energy. Being creative uses a lot of energy. And so you want to be able to do these things without wearing yourself out. So I do 3. Sometimes I do Instagram. Then there's the one other one, I can't think of the name right now, that I have done on occasion. But right now these are my top 3. And so it's all right to do the others, but just don't wear yourself out. And then build that following up, and then follow up with that following. You can build a list, a subscription list. In fact, with YouTube, you can put it right on there, subscribe, and they will subscribe to you. I have subscribers now on YouTube, and it's slowly growing, and that is what I want. I want it to grow, and the more it grows, the more I get my message out. And the more I get the message out, the likelihood is there's going to be some who are going to say, take a look at the products and services to say, oh, I like these. These will fit what I need. And that's what it's about. When you're an author and you're doing any of this, you are trying to meet a need that somebody out there has. If you can meet that need, then that is something that you can market, you can brag about, talk about, and so forth. The next one is email. Email is, I don't know the numbers compared to the others, but it's one of the easiest things. But if you have a email list, the key is to build an email list. When I first became a writer, and I read, take your email list and start your campaign. Well, the problem was I didn't have an email list, and I didn't even know how to create one. And so over the years, I've learned how to create one, and I got a list kind of going. I've got a list of people here in Facebook who follow. I got a list of here in YouTube, and people who buy my products. That also generates a list. I don't have that on here because not everybody has a store. You might be turning them into Amazon or somebody else, and they maintain that. But if you have a store and they come and shop from you, they're probably going to leave an email for you to follow up on. And if that becomes part of your list. And so you use that, build it, watch it grow. You can take one email list and break it off into separate topics. So you got your general one, which is everybody, and then you break it off. Well, I want this one, and this one over here, and I want you to put them over to this email list. You don't remove them from this one, but you copy them over to your other email list, and you use them. How do you get those emails? That is something I did not understand for a long time ago. I didn't have a coach, And I was going through the school of hard knocks. I've told you that before, so I wasn't getting the correct answers. But one of the ways is through giveaway. By the way, Goodreads. I don't have Goodreads on here, but Goodreads itself is a good way of doing this. You can do, I believe you can do paid advertising on there. You can do organic advertising on there, and you can actually have people buy your product from there. And so that's Goodreads is a good way to do it. They do giveaways. You can do giveaways there. You can do giveaways anywhere else too, for that matter. Sales. When you have sales, remember I said that when they go to your website and buy, they're going to leave a track record, so to speak, their email address and their name. And so you don't want to ask for too much information. People are going to back off if you're asking them for everything, maybe even including their blood type. All you need from them to get going is their name, and even that only needs to be their first name, and their email list. Those two things, and you can get off running and start building an email list. And so once you get some size to it, and you can start using it to generate campaigns in which you can have a campaign for sales. You can have a campaign for building your list even larger. You can have a campaign for what their likes and dislikes are, so that give you some direction and things of this thing. You can use email lists for a lot of different things. So there was that. Now we come down to mail. Actually, mail is the oldest of all these that we're talking about. It's the oldest form of communicating to people a message. Not just a personal, hello, I want to talk to you type message. You want to say, hello, I have just recently written a book and I would like you to consider buying it. Not necessarily the opening you'd use, but you get the idea. You communicate them through mail. Now, I'll bet you, if I was a gambling man, I'm not, but I would almost bet you that if once a week you get, or at least once a month, but I'm thinking once a week, you get some mail of a package, which might be newspaper format, or it may be a stack of cards, 3x5, 5x8 cards, in which you didn't ask for them; they just come to you. You might consider them junk mail, so it goes into your trash can. But if you might want to take a look at them every once in a while, especially the stack of cards. When they come, usually it's something on either side, and go through them and look. There might be something there that you can use, not necessarily for your career, but around the house. And that's the whole idea. They're sending you out to bring these in, sort of like random, and out of those, they might get one or two new emails or mailing addresses. And so that you can build that mailing address. And then you can communicate with those people, and then they buy their product. Maybe they leave their email address then. And so now you got their physical address or email, and then you also have their email address. So you can do it by mail or email, and it works just great. Build a list. That stopped me when I first got into marketing, because I didn't know how to. I didn't even have a list. I didn't even know what they were talking about, and so I had to learn. But build a list. Promotion campaign. Those cards I was talking about. I call that a promotion campaign. Then I have one here I call shotgun. That's those cards. You just send them out to resident and use the phone book. And you can send them to every resident in the city, or you can target a portion of the city. You can actually say divide the city up into 4 parts, and have one group of cards going to part one, one to part two, and third to part three, and the fourth one to part four, and see how they all react. And maybe one of them ends up being the one you go with in the future. But this is what we have now. We have paid, we have organic, email, and mail. Now, I want you to understand something. Don't think that you have to do it one or the other. Make them. You can use them. You can use one or the other. You can alternate them, whatever you want. That's it for today. You have a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode.